need to be afraid.
The West is so afraid. Hey, it is Christmas time. Very exciting time for freedom lovers like you and me. So much happened this week, so many good things. It's truly the season of miracles. I don't know about you, but I am loving President Trump. No. Loving President Trump. Isn't it something to have a president who's patriotic and loves America and loves freedom and loves our friends and doesn't apologize and doesn't give away the country to the worst traitors and evildoers? Anyway, first I wanted to just wish my supporters, my readers, my friends, my Facebook friends, a very Merry Christmas. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am, how we suffered for 8 years under this totalitarian, with a happy face movement led by the Democrats. Loving what's happening at the UN. I mean, look, this is a big deal because this is the first resolution against the United States. And we fund, what, 25% of it? Who needs that crap? The fact is, the United Nations was established and founded in the wake of the Holocaust. And it was founded in order to ensure that another Holocaust didn't happen. And what we're seeing is that it literally exists so that another Holocaust will happen. And the fact that someone is standing up for it is so gorgeous. They say only 9 countries. Lie. Only 9 countries stood with us. First of all, you have the countries that abstained. That's standing with us. And you have the countries, and there were scores of them, that neither said yes, for, or against, or abstained. They count in our corner too. It's not nearly as ugly as they'd like to paint it out to be. Plus the fact, let's remember how many countries, aligned with Hitler before he started to lose. That doesn't mean anything. Just because more people think you're wrong than think you're right doesn't mean that they're right. God knows that basically defines my existence. Anyway, it's really a great time to be alive. I hope you're seeing what I'm seeing with this president. Clearly, there are things like McMaster that are absolutely ridiculous to me, but I don't care. He's doing the right things, and he's doing it boldly and bravely. And we're getting some of that, testicular fortitude, which quite frankly had been missing for a long time, even under Bush. Mr., Islam is a religion of peace. So we have that. And then, of course, we have Nikki Haley, who I think has this enormously brilliant future because she's clear and rational and right. This week, for me, was particularly gorgeous because there was the sentencing of not 1 but 2 jihadists in Boston who had plotted to behead me. And Dawood Wright was sentenced to 28 years. I would have liked to seen him get life, but as one of my colleagues pointed out to me, he got 28 years, and he is 28 years old, so in a way he did get life. He got as long as he's living. I liked that. I thought that was poetic. And Nick Ravinsky, who got 15 in a plea deal, which, by the way, I signed off on because he was a weak sister. He really was, of the, in the cell, the weakest one. If you listen to the telephone recordings, he never said anything. He converted, I should say reverted to Catholicism a couple of weeks after his arrest. Now, I know what you're going to say, oh, he could be, bullshitting, it may not be true. It doesn't matter. The fact is, it's years later, and he still is a Catholic, in jail, where there's this huge jihad recruitment and proselytizing for Islam in the prisons, and they get better treatment, they get their special food, and they get their, their Qurans and their prayer mats, and it's like a scary gang, And so he puts his life in danger by doing that, by reverting. Plus, and most importantly, he turned state's evidence. So that case was as rock solid as it was because of Nick Ravinsky's testimony. And it was damning. We're talking bombshell. So for those of you that say that, I'm, concerned or I'm, a phobic, They're trying to behead me, okay? As somebody said, it's not Islamophobia if they're really trying to kill you. Well, they're really trying to kill me. And so they're going away for a long time, and I'm thrilled about that, okay? So that was fantastic. My heart goes out to the people of Australia who are not only, suffering from the loss of this vehicular jihad at one of the busiest railway stations in Australia, but they have their government saying that it was an isolated incident. Really? So what was Berlin? And what was Nice? And what was New York City, Halloween? I mean, are these people crazy? Do they think that we're incredibly stupid? How is that not part of the vehicular jihad in the West? It's just absurd. And then for them to say, in the New York Times to run as their headline, this is how dangerous the media is, for them to say that it wasn't terrorism. He was talking about Allah to the police and talking about the injustices. Oh, here we go. The injustices in the Muslim world to the Muslims. Whack and wind, right? Kill and cry. I can't even, okay? Anyway, still, we know, and it's our job to teach everyone around us. It's Christmas. Did you get fatwa yet? Shocking tell-all of what it's like to be an absolutely fearsome and free woman living under 24-hour death threat. Give the gift of freedom. Oh, and by the way, I haven't put this up because, well, I can't do everything, but if you want, I have these fantastic, not a lot, movie posters. Can you see that? Maybe I'll stand here. Isn't that gorgeous? Of our film, Can't We Talk About This? It's beautiful. If you want one, $50, and it's really first class, well done, production value. Write me at PamelaGeller@gmail.com. Pamela Geller, one word, no underscores, and I'll autograph it for you. If you want me to haunt your dreams, you can get this book poster, Pamela Geller, Fatwa, Hunted in America. That's what I call a fabulous Christmas gift, don't you think? I can't read, but you guys, you're awesome. Anyway, it was a great week. I'm very, very hopeful for the future. I know that the media will be even more vicious. As they lose control. Do you notice that? And they're getting hoisted on their own petard with this Russia collusion investigation, because what's coming out is damning to them. That Obama, for example, was protecting Hezbollah, this bloody genocidal terrorist group, their terror, narco-terror rackets, their cocaine rackets, in order to secure this nuclear pact with the world's largest state sponsor of terror. I mean, if the Republicans let this one go, they're completely useless. He needs to be brought up on treason. It's what it is. There's just, it's bombshell. Of course, the media is still talking about Trump and Russia collusion because they know. That's purely a diversionary tactic. They know they have a lot to hide, and they mean to distract you with this bullshit, and that's what it is, and we can't let them, and we have to pursue the truth. And even though the doors are closing, and they close, we see on Facebook, they're shutting down people that post about the jihad and the Sharia, that share my links. If you share a link, you can get in Facebook jail for 3 days. Mark Zuckerberg, okay, at some point has to face antitrust legislation. He has to. We don't want his money. It's all we're interested in, but it is now, this is how we communicate with each other, much like the telephone in the 20th century, and he has to adhere to the First Amendment. Unless you're inciting to murder, it's free speech. Now, we have a First Amendment. I was just in Canada where they tried to ban me, but I got to tell you, I got in and spoke to 500 people. It was gorgeous. I feel for them between their Sharia legislation, M103, and this, insane prime minister that they have. He's absolutely off the rails. They have real problems. This is what happens when you go from a Stephen Harper, who was this gorgeous, brilliant, magnificent leader for freedom, to Justin Trudeau. And the idea that he's cutting, no pun intended, FGM from the Citizens Guide, he's cutting it out. I mean, I think he suffers from PTSD, from his childhood, because his mother was such a nut and such a slut. And I'm not slut shaming. I mean, back in those days in the 70s, there was some morals and ethics left. This woman was sitting on the floor, I think, was it Studio 54, with her vajayjay out, literally. Lady bits all out there, and I think he suffers from PTSD. He's unhinged with his Quran socks. Anyway, let's not focus on the bad. We're going to focus on the good. I just wanted to do a really quick FaceTime Live to thank you for your continuing support. It's year-end giving. If you want to give to an organization, tax-deductible 501c3, you should give to AFDI. No one is doing what we're doing. No one is accomplishing what we're accomplishing. We don't just talk, we act. There's a difference. And we put our lives on the line every day to defend our freedom. Every day. Anybody? Thank you. Thank all of you. I'm looking at the comments. The Canadians are saying I'm right about Trudeau. Yeah, hello. And that's all really for right now. Just thrilled with this week. I mean, we're really living in historical times. And while we see things sort of, you can't see the forest for the trees, if you look at it from a historical perspective, this president is a monumental figure for freedom. He will save the free world. I really believe that. And so we must support him. We must get behind him. We must get behind politicians that support him. I would throw out like bad, the bathwater, not the baby, but the bathwater. Any politicians that work against his agenda, we need him desperately. The world is, overwhelmingly moving in the worst way possible. Look at the convictions of a New York Muslim, 15 years for plotting and conspiring to help ISIS. The beheading plot this week, the two, and then you have in Canada and in the UK jihadis getting off. They are going completely in the wrong direction. We're doing all the right things. And sometimes you have to stand alone. Sometimes it's required of you. It may not be easy, but trust me, it feels really good. Nobody sleeps better or harder than me. Anyway, Merry Christmas. I'll try and do another one next week, but it's Friday night. I'm going to play a little Christmas. We'll have a little Christmas Friday night open thread tonight. Just wanted to tell you that I love you, that it's a fabulous time, fabulous to be alive, and pop open the champagne.
At Christmas time.
We will make America great again.